This is LTV.
Hello and welcome to Leominster Credit Union presents Make Sense. My name is Brittany Haley and I am the host. We are going to be covering different financial topics each episode to help you make sense of what is going on in the financial world. This month, we are covering the scariest thing that I can think of right now, which is fraud. It is Fraud-tober, everybody. So to help me today, I have Ashley Grossi, and she is our fraud expert here at Leominster Credit Union. So Ashley, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Grossi. I work at Leominster Credit Union. I started about a couple months ago. We are working with different solutions, looking at different ways to help our members, make sure we are helping our members mitigate risk. So my day-to-day, honestly, is reviewing checks, reviewing accounts, making sure we are keeping all our members safe and being an asset to our members. If they have any questions, I'm able to answer all the questions for our members.
Great, awesome. So right now, fraud is something that is really prevalent, whether it be check fraud, scams, all different kinds of issues that members are facing every single day. So we're going to cover a few things this episode. We're going to go over check fraud. We're going to go over person in need and grandparent scams, as well as holiday shopping scams, and text and person-to-person payment app scams as well. So to kick it off, we are going to cover check fraud.
Honestly, I can talk all day about fraud. There's just so many different topics I can talk about, but check fraud seems to be the biggest one we are seeing, and I'm sure different financial institutions are seeing it as well. So really, with check fraud, if you receive a check in the mail and you're not expecting it, just please do not try to deposit the check and withdraw the funds. If you're not expecting it, it's not a good check. If you have questions about a check, please bring it to your institution. The tellers, anyone in the branch can definitely help and reach out to the fraud department to look at the check and question it, and we're more than welcome and able to deposit it with a hold. That way you are not at risk at losing any funds. So with checks, if the handwriting is a little off, if the memo states like payment approved payment, that is a red flag. Really, 90% of the checks we're seeing have approved payment. I really don't know why that memo is like the biggest thing right now, but they're all using approved payment or payment approved. So when I review those checks daily, when I see, my eyes go straight to memo, like I go straight to the memo and I see payment approved, I'm like, oh my goodness, I think this is a fraudulent check. So I go and I review and I dig deeper, and it is. So please, if it says payment approved, and if you're not expecting the check, please be careful. Reach out to your institution or go to the branch, and we're more than happy. Your institution is more than happy to help you. That way you mitigate the loss and we, keep everyone safe.
Because when it comes to checks in the mail too, I think that there's the employment scams where individuals are promised, an amount of money to do maybe a mystery shopper or some other type of employment.
Yes.
And they are told, hey, here's a $6,000 check. Sorry, we overpaid you.
Oh yeah, everyone loves the work from home. We all love working from home. So who doesn't love working from home? So right now, the working from home scams are big. So please be careful when you see an ad online, work from home, and you receive checks in the mail and you're getting overpaid and they're asking you to send a certain amount back in gift cards. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Anything being sent back in gift cards, please stop, question it, because that is definitely a scam.
And another red flag too is if the individual that you're dealing with tells you, don't tell anybody about it.
Yeah. Yes, that's a famous one. Please keep it a secret. Or if you go to your institution, they give you a script, or the check will come with a script and say you have to say specific things. That's a red flag. When they want you to say and hide, and don't tell your institution that you're sending it in gift cards. Just say you need the withdrawal. That's a big thing too. And a lot of people fall for it because they feel threatened or they feel like they have to send the money back. Please reach out to your institution, wherever you bank, because we're here to help. Your institution is here to help you. Don't ever feel embarrassed if you do fall for a scam.
Right, absolutely. And to segue into it, our next topic of scams is the grandparent or the person in need scam.
Definitely one of the scariest. These scams, they definitely target the elderly members where they act like they're a grandson, a friend, or a relative that is in need, or they got hurt, or they were in a car accident, they have to post bail, or they're in the hospital and they need medical expenses. So if you do receive a call from a friend or a family member saying, they've been in a car accident and they need a specific amount and someone will be by your house to grab the funds, please don't panic. The first thing you do is have someone else call this specific person, if it's a family or a relative or a friend, and ask them to verify and ask them, please make sure this person is actually in need and needs the funds. If they're not, hang up the phone, because this is a scam.
Yeah, those scammers, they're really just working off your adrenaline, pulling at your heartstrings, telling you somebody's hurt, it's an emergency, they're in jail, please don't tell anybody because they don't want anyone to know that they're in jail. Chances are, if one of your loved ones is in jail in another country, I think you'd know they'd be visiting that country. So
yes,
be careful, be diligent, give them a call, reach out to them and say, hey, are you in Ireland in a jail? Chances are they're probably not.
No, an example I used just this year alone in New York, it happened. They targeted an elderly couple. Their grandson was in a car accident, hit a pregnant woman. The grandson was drinking and driving. So it was a police officer, supposedly, that was calling with an attorney, and they asked to give $9,500 and put the $9,500 in a mailbox. And the elderly couple did just that, put the $9,500 in an envelope in the mailbox, and they came by, the fraudsters came by and picked it up. They took an Uber to pick up the funds, which they will do. That way it's not traceable. And the elderly couple, after, the adrenaline was gone and they realized, they were like, wow, we should have called to double check and see if this person was actually in danger. And they did that, and they were home sleeping.
Oh my gosh.
So it is happening just this year. It happened a couple months ago, and it happened in New York. They are targeting, and it's happening, and it's very scary. These are one of the scariest scams because they do take a lot of money from these people.
Absolutely. And I think, too, going into the holiday season, there's definitely an uptick in this because scammers are trying to get that extra money before the holidays.
Oh, absolutely.
So how are some ways, too, that we can protect ourselves online with the holiday shopping and make sure that we're not losing out this holiday season?
Don't click any pop-ups on the websites, please. If you're on a website, don't click anything that's in a different language or anything that looks odd. Do not fall for that. You have to be careful. Always verify the website you're on. The fraudsters are really good with creating a website that looks, for example, let's say they create a website that looks just like Amazon. Happens all the time. You're thinking you're shopping on Amazon, but it's actually the website that the fraudsters create, and you're purchasing things and they're getting all the funds. Happens all the time. If it's possible, please use a credit card while shopping, holiday shopping online, because that is not linked to an account, a bank account. It is definitely easier to get the funds back. That way it's not linked into your personal accounts at your institution. It's just safer to use a credit card. So those are definitely the biggest tips I can give, especially for holiday shopping.
Absolutely. I know that not all that long ago, I had fallen for an email that looked identical to my PayPal email.
Yes.
And I had received an email saying that there was a charge on my account. My account was restricted. It looked identical. They copied the official PayPal email, everything. When I clicked on the link, it brought me to a website asking for my personal information. At that time, a red flag went off in my head. I looked at the web address and I realized that it was not, in fact, PayPal. So anytime that you can also do the two-step authentication on a website, that's also a good idea, because that is going to make sure that you are on the legitimate website, that it's sending you that text message with that code. But that being said as well, make sure that you're not downloading any additional apps. If you're on a website and it says, you know, download this app and enter this on your computer to access, you just want to make sure you're really careful, doing your due diligence and shopping on legitimate websites that you trust. And just like Ashley said, if you can use your credit card to kind of have it be one step removed from your bank account, so that way, you know, they're not gaining access to your debit card and draining that account.
Yes.
So definitely a really good tip for the holiday shopping and making sure that you're being vigilant that way.
Yes, absolutely. And especially with the holidays, they're going to target a lot of people. I can't express how busy, you know, the fraud department's going to be, and it's going to be busy in every institution because the fraud picks up during the holiday season. So please, if you get a call from your gas company, from Verizon, Comcast, whoever it may be, asking to download apps to transfer money or send gift cards, stop, question it, hang the phone, and end the call. And please, please grab an old bill and grab the number on that bill and call and verify and see what's going on. Because if they're asking for gift cards or to download apps and transfer funds, they're not going to do that. So please, please take the time, stop, look at the red flags, and question what's happening. That way you avoid any losses.
Right. Your oil company is not going to ask you to send them Amazon gift cards for your payment.
No.
They're not going to ask you to download some crazy app to start making your payments. Just be absolutely diligent and careful with that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And they're good. You know, on the phone, they sound real and, you know, they're sweet and they just start talking to you. And by the time you notice, you've downloaded 3 apps and transferred a couple $1,000 and you hang up and you're like, what did I just do?
Right.
And you call your institution, you're like, this just happened. And unfortunately, we have to tell you, you got scammed. And it's a whole road we have to go down, and it's not easy. So please, please be careful, especially with the holidays coming. I really can't express that enough.
Absolutely. And something else, too, that is very pertinent and keeps happening, and I'm receiving them, I'm sure you are, is the different text messages. It might say, hey, your bank account, we noticed this transaction, or hey, click on this link to your statement, and you're receiving a text message. So what's going on with that? What's going on with these text messages?
I knew that was going to come up. I know everyone is receiving text messages from every single company, I feel like. So it is happening. I mean, Zelle is the biggest one that was going around where the text message really looked good.
Yeah.
If I would have been tempted to click that link. The wording was perfect. You know, some text messages you receive, the wording is off, the punctuation, the grammar, and you're like, okay, I know this is a scam, I'm not gonna click it. The Zelle one was like by far the best one.
Now, when Ashley mentioned Zelle, so Zelle is one of many person-to-person payment apps. So these are apps that you use to transfer money to friends, family, trusted sources like Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal. These are all different examples of payment apps. So Zelle is one of the popular ones. And one red flag too, I think, is if you get a text message from Zelle and you don't have a Zelle account, you don't use that app, chances are that should put up a red flag for you. Because I know that there's certain apps that I don't use, but I receive text messages from those apps, alleged apps, or the banks, and they're banks that I don't have accounts with. So for me, that's easy. They just kind of fish out there and try to get some bites, hoping they send these text messages out. Someone's going to click on it and enter their personal information.
Yes, if you do not have the app, delete the message. Just don't even acknowledge the message, text message, delete it, ignore it. If you do have it, please, please don't click any links you receive in text messages, emails. Call the company directly and ask what's going on. Is my account compromised? I received this text message. Call the company directly. That is my biggest tip. Text messages, Zelle is, like I said, the biggest one. That one looks really real, but the link, if some members have clicked it, it leads to a completely different website.
Right.
Completely different website. I know other institutions, financial institutions, have had text messages being sent out to different people. I received messages from institutions I don't even have accounts at.
Yep.
Don't click it. Text messages are happening a lot. I know someone that receives at least 10 text messages a day from different companies, different financial institutions. It's only going to get worse with the holidays. So please, please, with text messages, do not click any links if you do not have the app. If you do not use the app or have accounts, delete it and ignore it. It's a scam, so please don't fall for it.
Awesome. Well, this is all some really great information, Ashley.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, do you think, is there anything else, any other tips, tricks, hacks that you want to tell people about, ways to just safeguard their information, to not fall victim of fraud or scams?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like I can do a whole days worth of red flags and tips and tricks. I wish we had a ton of time to kind of explain everything, but I just want to express just how careful you should be with links and emails. If you just question everything, take the time. Do not just quickly go clicking everything you see on websites or links you receive. If you feel like it's a scam or you're questioning it, reach out to the institution you are with. Do not feel embarrassed. I feel like the biggest thing is our members, customers, they feel embarrassed and do not want to say anything.
Right.
And they fall victim to something and they end up lying to us and they get into deep things and we can't help until thousands of dollars are lost.
Right.
So my biggest thing is don't feel embarrassed. Reach out to us. Reach out to your financial institution. We are here to help. Your institution's there to help. We can help and, help you mitigate any further losses. Also, with a holiday coming, freeze your credit. It doesn't hurt to freeze credit. Check your credit often. You can pull it for free with the 3 credit bureaus. So that does not hurt to freeze credit. That's definitely a big tip as well.
Yeah, I have my credit frozen at all of the credit bureaus.
Yeah.
So my credit can't be pulled without my permission. It's simple to put those freezes on and then get those lifted when you need to get them lifted. When you are going for lending, it's a quick thing to unfreeze them temporarily, and that can help safeguard your information as well. So that is awesome, Ashley. Well, thank you so much for helping me with fraud and scams for the upcoming holiday season.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thank you.
And we would like to hear from you on our future upcoming shows. What do you want to hear about? What are some financial topics you'd like to see covered? What are some questions you have? So if you'd like to reach out and get your question answered on the show, you can reach out to fined@leominstercu.com, and we would love to answer your question in an upcoming show. And if it is too good to be true, it probably is. And I hope that makes sense. Thank you for watching. Makes sense.
This is LTV.